You just make sure it went live. Good morning, everybody. I know it's probably a little unusual to have a morning stream for me, but I thought it would be really fun to sort of show y'all what I'm working on. I just realized I have to turn my alarms off because I forgot to turn my wake up alarm off, so I didn't want to jump scare everybody. So let me just bring it. Actually, let me bring this up on my phone just in case. Probably should have done that like before I started, but you know, I'm a goldfish. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. All right, cool. That's nice. I don't know if people are gonna join a morning stream. I figured it'd be kind of fun, but my goal here. So, I have this really cool like idea. That I guess actually let me do this really quick. Let me just bring this over here and I'll just show y'all. So I have this really cool like idea that I have of being able to do this sort of like manga guide, and I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. I know. Hey Zat, what's up? I figured I would try a morning stream this time, because I get up in the morning all the time, like pretty decently early, and I figure like I always stream so late, right? And so it's like, you know what if I did like an hour stream in the morning or something? Because you know I'm up anyway. Like I usually get up at like 5. Hey, good morning. I've realized I have a lot of fans that are like in Europe and Asia, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just do like a super early stream for the US? But yeah. So I have this like really cool guide that I think is cool anyway that I'm working on. I'm just trying so you guys can't see the side of it. I'm going to zoom out just a teeny bit more. But yeah, so I've been like, I have my Think Like a Mangaka series, right? And so I've been really struggling to like work on it just because it's been so overwhelming. There's so many topics. Like this isn't even like, this is like half of the topics that like I plan to cover in like the series. And I've just been really overwhelmed. And one of the things that I've noticed that I'm better at is it's like, what if I were to approach this YouTube series like I would a manga, right? It's like I gotta plan it from like beginning to end, right? Yeah, and I don't even get off work until 6 o'clock. So like that's like 6 p.m. That's the earliest I could possibly stream. And like by then I'm usually so tired that I don't want to stream, right? And so then that means, oh, I can only stream on the weekends, but then I have other stuff I have to do on the weekends because I'm a human being. I'm an adult human being with a life. And so it just, my streams are always ending up like really late. So it's crazy. And so now I'm up. Technically I got up like 3 hours ago. Like I usually get up between like 4 and 5 a.m. in the morning, and just do whatever I need to do, whether it's making manga or drawing traditionally on whatever or other stuff. And so I've got this whole book that I'm putting together. Like look at all these pages. Like every single one of these 2-page spreads is like a different idea. Some of them there's like a pair of ideas that I think go really well together. And I was like, well, you know what? I want to be up in the morning, and I thought maybe it would be a really good idea to like do a stream for this, because 2 things. One, I can ask other people, like I can ask my viewers if there's something they want me to cover that's not in here. But also, hey, it's content. So yeah, I'm probably only gonna be up for maybe like an hour and a half, because I have to start work in 2 hours. Because like YouTube is not my full-time job and manga is not my full-time job. I have like a normie job like everybody else. But I work from home. So like I don't have to drive anywhere. I literally just have to go to a different room and I can start work. You know what I mean? So it's not like I have to go very far for work. It's literally just the other room. But anyway, so I've already started like compiling some of these ideas. This is my like Untitled Diary of a Mangaka like document where I keep all my ideas. Yeah. So like I've done the math, and if I'm going to be a mangaka full time, or self-employed, anything for that matter, I have to make at least $60,000 a year, which is a decent amount more than I already make now at a regular job. I highly doubt. I'm just saying. I've been trying to be realistic here. Like as far as like just on manga alone, I don't see how I could make $60,000 a year, which is like I said, a considerable amount more than I make now. Like, I would have to make more at manga than I would my day job. And I already make a stupid amount of money for my day job compared to, like, the average wage in my state. So, because I don't think people take into account all the extra stuff that Americans have to pay for. Like, we have to pay our own healthcare, our own insurance, because we don't have universal healthcare here. I have student debt that I'm still paying from college. Like, our taxes, like, go up when we're self-employed. So, like, it's like an extra 15% that I have to pay. I know, it is nice to dream, isn't it? Anyway, so you guys can't see it, but I have a book in front of me of all the different ideas. And so the first thing I need to do is go through and mark what I've already planned here, like what's already in the book. So first thing we're looking for is what is manga, which is pretty obvious, but I have to pretend like writing this stuff, I have to be like, okay, like what would a person who's like reading this guide want to know about manga? And so maybe they don't know what manga is. But I think it could also be sort of like, I just realized something, and how actually, let me just make it like another topic, actually. Because I feel like this is something that's important. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna add the question. No one wants to know the... No one's asking, but I'm asking. Alright, do I have what is Kisho Dinkits? Yes. I have other plot structures. Yes. World building basics. I do have that in here. And then writing characters, DVD. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but... So that one's in here. Alright, then now this isn't all of the list. I'm just kind of going through, like I said, I have a notebook with all my ideas written down in it. I'm just making sure they're all in here. Let's see. Do I have, okay, so next on my list is visual narrative. Oh, there it is, it's right next to it. Composition and camera angles. Alright, and then, so this one is all about paneling, which is called komowari. And komowari is sort of like the theory of paneling, if you will. It's like the best way I can describe it is like a theory, I guess. Or like the way of paneling, something like that. Liam! I am making a book. So, here, I'll show you. I've been asked to make a book for a long time, honestly, and so I'm putting together, so I have the Think Like a Mangaka series that I'm making on YouTube anyway. And I've been really, like, I get asked, like, the same questions all the time. And I'm like, man, I wish I just had a book that I could, like, recommend people. Because I always have to recommend people, like, 15 million books, right? And so I'm like, why don't I just make a book? So, and I can use this, like, this guide. It'll be probably just a PDF, and I'm hoping to print it. But I want this to sort of, like, be, like, a guide that I can give people, and I'll probably just give it away for free, honestly, or maybe like pay what you want or something on Gumroad or whatever, but I also want to use this as like the basis for like my YouTube channel as well. So nah, you're good. And then, but there are so many good books, right? Like there are so many good resources, like there's this resource this one. This is called the Basic Technical Rules of Manga, which is something Kodansha gave all of the Mochi Komi people. And like this has been so educational for me. Like look at this. This is a lot of guide, right? And then like all of this terminology that I've never heard of before, and so like I knew of these things, but like I didn't know like the Japanese words for them. And so I've been using like the Japanese words to do more research, which is really cool. So I want to be able to share this stuff. This is like a super rough version of the guide that I made for Learn to Draw Manga when I was a mentor there. It's called the Komowari Crash Course. And people really liked it. And so I basically would be making like a cleaned up version of this. And the students really liked it. They enjoyed it. So I'll probably be making something like that. So Zap, I don't know if I'm allowed to give it out. So the answer at the moment is no, but I'm going to ask them if it's okay that I hand it out. So I'm not going to give it out unless they say it's okay. Because it was translated for us, so I don't know. And then there's also like the creator newsletter with Viz Originals, which has great information. And then this is the Shonen Jump Guide to Making Manga. This book is really great. And then there's also, of course, Manga in Theory and Practice, which is really great. And then this one's my personal favorite, which is like Dr. Mashiro's Ultimate Manga Techniques. And I've read all of these books. I've read all of these books and I own all of these books. And like, I just kind of want to like make a single resource that like utilizes all of these things and like, hey, I've read all of these things and compiled the information together, plus with my own knowledge and maybe like other mangaka that have contributed to this. I just want it to be like a universal resource for people. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the idea behind this guide is it's like, here's all these cool resources that I've read, that I've pulled from, and I'll be like directly referencing them. Like, hey, by the way, like this information came from like this page. Like, you know how we did those like big like research projects when we were in school and you had to like list your sources and shit? That's basically what this is. Like, I'm basically making this like giant like manga like book essay project thing, and I'm gonna provide all my resources as well. So hopefully it'll be, now it's gonna take a long time. Like this is like a multi-year project, but I think it'll be really cool. I just get the same questions over and over and over again. And one of the things, so I met with Hisashi-san in like late January. And one of the things that he said is like there's just not like a lot of mangaka don't have like education. And Kodansha, when I met with Kodansha for the Mochikomi back in October, they said the same thing. Like there's just a real lack of like educational knowledge. Educational knowledge, like sorry, manga education. And so I want to help provide that. Save the cat, I guess. I guess. And so what I'm doing right now is I went through all of the books last night and I wrote down everything. Like I kind of like speed ran the books, all of those books I just mentioned, and I wrote down in a notebook if there was a topic that I thought was interesting. But someone had a suggestion here. Zap, you said, how about pace yourself and organize your manga making process? I actually already have that. I don't think I know I wrote it down. I don't know if I put it in here yet. Let's see. Yeah, I said, I have here mastering your production schedule and making your workspace work for you. So that'll be a soft skill, I think. Oh, writing and planning, yeah. Well, that could be writing and planning, or it could be like a soft skill. Let me see. How do I want to categorize that one? Maybe other guides, I think, would be better. So I just hadn't added that one to the list yet in here, but it's in my notebook. So this would be... and then making your workspace work for you. It's gonna teach me too. So I think it'll be a really good way for me to submit my own knowledge, but also like I'm gonna be reaching out to other mangaka as well that I think are maybe like a better experts than me. Like for example, there's one section on copyright, and I know Queenie-chan is a super expert in like copyright, as well as Gamal Hennessy. And so I'm gonna reach out to like other experts. So hopefully it won't be just a me project. And what I'd really love to do when I do like the episodes of those things is actually bring on those people as guests onto like my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so I'm hoping to bring in like other people that are experts. That way it's not just me giving information. It's, hey, Arcro, must recognize that I am not the expert in this, or I realize that there are other people that have more information than me, so let me bring them onto the channel, or bring them, like, or go to them and say, hey, I'm writing about this, would you like to contribute to it? And I'll give you credit, whatever, you know. So, credit, or, you know, if they want money or whatever, you know. So let me mark that those are in the book here. All right, so the next section is types of panels. Should be in paneling. Yep, so we have types of panels. We have page turn. We have misegoma. We have ma. We have inset and overlay panels. I guess breakout is technically the correct term for that. We have a borderless panel, splash pages. Ignore my capitalizing convention. It's not consistent. What's consistency? Well, I mean, so remember, I work for Global Comics during the day. And so what I do for Global Comics is I do what's called community management. I don't know why it hit the dang. That's weird. I don't know why it hit your comment. I told it to show your comment, but it's not. There it is. Okay. I love that it flagged dang. I'm gonna have to fix that. That's hilarious. That's so funny that it did that. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I need to look at my bot and see why it flagged that, because dang is not a bad word. That's insane. Anyway, so next on my list is margins. I have margins. And then always working in 2 pages. Yep, I've got that one. And then next is panel layouts. And there's so many different types of panel layouts. But the 3 main ones I want to talk about are the 3x3 grid, which is super common in Western comics. A really good example of the Western grid, if you want to see it in action, is Watchmen. Watchmen uses the 9-box grid pretty often. And then, wait, so I have the 3x3, the 2x4, 2x3, and then the 8 panel layouts as well as yonkoma, and then panel borders and gutters. I am not making a Discord. At least not anytime soon. I used to have one, and then I nuked it because I didn't have the time to manage it. I already am super crazy busy. Do you want to see my schedule? I'm actually making a video about this. Do you want to see my schedule? Look at this. Okay, where's my getting up early one? Okay, this is not it. Okay, I don't have an accurate one. It's okay. I'll fix it really quick. I'll show you what my working schedule is like. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is my schedule. It's it's getting up at 5 a.m. making manga. And then, you know, I have my Global Comics work. And then I have a little bit of free time here on Saturday, but really not that much. Did you notice I had multiple schedules? So this is the easiest way that I manage my time is I have multiple schedules. And depending on how I'm feeling that day will determine which one I end up using. This one has me getting up at 8. And then I have a split sleep schedule. If my energy is really, really low, I'll do a split sleep schedule for that night. And then this is my usual schedule. So it just kind of depends. Yeah, it's a lot. Look at this is a normal week for me. 80 hours a week between my Global Comics job and then doing YouTube, which I usually do on Sunday. All my YouTube stuff is usually on Sundays. And then I have my Japanese study as well. And then I have obviously making manga, usually Viz stuff. And then I gotta update my Patreon and schedule stuff. And then I gotta do work stuff, so I have more than one schedule because I have a chronic disease right now, and I don't necessarily always have the same amount of energy levels. And so basically the reason I have multiple schedules is, so let's say, for example, I get up at 5 a.m. and I'm super exhausted and I have zero energy after work. I get off work at 6 o'clock, which is 18 if you're not used to 24-hour calendars. And so if I'm super exhausted or I just don't have the energy, I'll go to bed at 7 o'clock. And if I go to bed at 7 o'clock, this becomes my schedule. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to sleep for a couple hours. And then I'll get up and get my 3 hours of manga done. And then I'll go back to sleep. So I still get my 8 to 9 hours of sleep. I'm just working at a different time. You know, or if I'm like extra tired, I'll just go to bed early and sleep the whole dang night and then just get up at 5 a.m. And so the reason why this is really helpful is in any given week, my timing is going to change. Like, for example, like this was a really interesting particular week. It was just an example that I recorded of like what my schedule actually looked like. Like, because making a schedule isn't about being necessarily trying to stick to it 100%. Having a schedule and being able to master your time is about working with yourself. So like at this particular week was a really bad week for me because I went to bed really early on most evenings because I was so exhausted all the time. Usually I can stay up or I can get up early, but I struggled. I was really struggling the week before to get up early at 5 o'clock like I usually do. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do something different this next week. And so starting on the weekend here, I was like, oh, well, I'll just get up like at a decent time, you know, like at 8 o'clock, and then I'll do my split sleep schedule. Let me see if that works for me. And it did. I got so much stuff done this particular week because I just changed when I went to bed and when I got up and did a split sleep schedule. And this particular week, this worked better for me. But this isn't my normal week. So sometimes working with yourself versus trying to force yourself to stay to a specific schedule every single day, so that works better. And like I said, there's a whole video I'm making about this topic because it's very fascinating to me. So, because most people, when I talk to them about like making a schedule to keep yourself consistent, they go, I don't like sticking to a schedule, or like, I don't like routines, or I can't stick to routines. So I'm like, okay, don't. Give yourself options. But like, hold yourself accountable to one of those options every single day. And so that's what this is it's like, okay, if I'm feeling great, you know, oh, hang on, if I'm feeling great, I can get up at 5 a.m., which is my normal. If I'm not feeling great, well, I'll just have a split sleep schedule that particular night. And then I'll get up at 8 the next day. I can get all my sleep and I can have a little bit of a nap before I make manga. Or I can just sleep the whole night and then get up at 5 a.m. anyway. So you just gotta be flexible and work with yourself, you know? So, but yeah, so like that trick I learned when I was in college. So, and it's sort of like my default, like because like I said, I have like a chronic illness right now. So, hey honey, no, you're good honey, please do what you gotta do. I appreciate the lurk. Lurks are appreciated here. Do you guys like my Weather Channel music this morning? I love this song so much. It reminds me of the Weather Channel. Oh, I feel that. Dude, last year was one of the worst years I've had in terms of productivity. And that's because that's when my illness started, was last February. Starting last February, my energy levels were so bad, I would fall asleep in the middle of work meetings. Like, I'm in a meeting at Global Comics, right? Like my day job. And I fall asleep in the middle of the meeting. And I'm out for like 2 hours. And my boss is calling me, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, shit, sorry, I'll be right there. And I'm like, I fell asleep like at my desk. Like just like boom, face plant. I just fell asleep. So like energy levels have been awful. Do you have a plan for unexpected occurrences to interrupt your schedule and require? Absolutely, it's super duper easy. Address the thing and then get back on schedule. Sometimes you just lose time. So like, actually I do have an example. I can show you a very specific example. So I'm gonna embarrass myself a little bit. This particular day, on the 5th of January, was the very first day back to work after the winter holiday. I got about a week and a half to 2 weeks off from Global Comics at the end of the year for like the end of year holiday. And I overslept. I overslept. So for example here, I did my split sleep schedule. And instead of sleeping 9 hours like I should have, I slept 11 hours. And I messed up. I was an hour late for work. I missed my free time, which is my my meditation time, right? Like it's my chill time, it's my meditation time, it's my get organized for the daytime. And then I missed an hour of Global Comics. I missed my first meeting of the day on the very first day back from break. And I was horribly embarrassed. Like I was almost hyperventilating, like crying when I realized that I got up at 10 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. I was so upset. And like after I thought about it, I was like, you know what, like it's okay. Like I talked to obviously like I had to let my boss know. Because he's like, hey, where are you? Is everything okay? And it's like, good, it's fine. Like it happens. And so what I did was I was like, okay, here's what I can do. I have some stuff I have to get done for Global Comics. And so this free time is actually my lunch period, right? It's my lunch time. And so I put in my 8 hours. And then I had, my sleep schedule, here. So I was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I would usually do is I'd have an hour of Japanese class right here. Like I'd have an hour of Japanese study. Like if we look at my usual split sleep schedule, I usually have an hour of Japanese after I do my manga work. So I just didn't study Japanese that day. Right? So basically, because I had to make up for 2 hours of time that I lost. And so what I did to adjust for it is I had I didn't give up my lunch. I worked an hour late for Global Comics to make up for the hour that I missed, which was my choice. They never forced us to do that. That's my choice. And then I had my hour of free time, which is lunch, errands, cats, whatever I need to do for myself. And then I went back to sleep because I was exhausted. I was so tired. I didn't feel very good. And so then I got up, I did my manga work, and then I went back to bed. That way I still got 8 to 9. That way I still got my needed sleep time, right? And I do 9 hours because it takes me usually about 30 minutes to fall asleep. And that way I still get my full 8 hours. And then the next day I just got back on schedule. No big deal. Like if something happens or your schedule gets out of whack, just pick it back up and go do your thing. Just pick it back up. Get back on track as soon as you possibly can. But address the thing that you need to address, and then after that, just get back on schedule. It's no big deal. Sometimes you have to accept that you lost time and you're not going to get it back, and then just get back on schedule. Now, if it's something that you need to make up time for, you're going to have to sacrifice something to get that time back, and just what's the lowest priority thing that I can sacrifice to get my time back? And for me, it was my Japanese class. So I sacrificed Japanese class that day. I actually ended up sacrificing it all week. But yeah, life is never gonna making it. The one thing is if you make a schedule, it's gonna get fucked up. And so you gotta be flexible. You gotta be able to roll with it. Roll with the punches, as they say. I don't know if that was a satisfactory answer. It's the best answer I can give. I hope that made sense. Alright, so next is inking digitally, which I have in here. Inking traditionally, which I have in here. A lot of people don't know this, but I ink traditionally. Really, I don't know if y'all have been watching my streams lately. And then we have screen tones and how to use them, which in my document I split between traditional tones and digital tones. And then we have how to background, which is perspective basics, and then effects, which we have. using contrast and values, and then hatching versus cross-hatching. And then for other guides, which are just kind of like weird other thingies that I don't have a place for yet, we have a guide to manga contests, copying and tracing, which I think should go under art techniques, maybe? Oh, working as a team, matching your production schedule. Yeah. But yeah, like, the only thing you can really, the only thing you can really count on is that stuff's gonna get messed up. Your schedule's gonna get thrown off. And so find the most reasonable thing to sacrifice, and then just sacrifice that. Like, it's okay to not have a perfect day. I guess the closest thing you could relate it to is, like, being on a diet, right? Like, you're gonna have, like, whenever you go on a diet, you're gonna have days where you fall off the wagon, right? Like, you're gonna eat too much of something you probably shouldn't eat. Or you'll have a soda that you probably shouldn't be drinking. Or maybe you had a piece of cake that you shouldn't have eaten. Like, it's okay. Enjoy that thing while in that moment and go, hey, I messed up. I shouldn't have eaten this. But don't, like, use that as a way to ruin the rest of your day, or to ruin the rest of your week, or the rest of your month, or the rest of your year. Just go, okay, in this moment, a mistake was made. Like, as soon as you finish that cake, get back on track. You know what I mean? Like, get back on track. I think that's the difference between people who can have an occasional treat, or people that can, like, have a bad day and have it not affect the rest of their week. Is it's, okay, this thing happened, like, let me just go right back to being, like, on top of it as soon as I'm done with whatever this thing is. You know, roll with it. Like, stay loose, man. Don't stress too much. It's not worth it. It's not worth the wasted energy. Alrighty. Demographics. I mean, we're only human, right? Like, we're not gods. We're not perfect beings. Getting started, ways to promote, self-publishing, and then I have suggested. Why do I have two other guide sections? I have two other guides. Okay. I'll keep that because I'm going to need that in a minute. Alright, we're going to make... Let me get rid of that. I don't need it. We're gonna copy this. I'm gonna put it here. We're gonna name it lettering. Because lettering. That's not what I'm really gonna call it, but that's how I feel sometimes. Lettering, the hidden art that nobody appreciates. Here's the thing with lettering. If you are a really good letterer, no one's gonna notice your work. That's kind of, unless it's another letterer. It's kind of one of those, like, funny things for me that I've noticed is, like, because I've done lettering and, like, I know how to, like, I don't want to say I know how to letter, I appreciate lettering. I notice when someone has good lettering, but most people have no idea what the heck I'm talking about when I point it out. They're like, you notice stuff like that? I'm like, you don't? Crazy people? So under lettering, we're gonna have all kinds of fun things. Are you ready, guys? All right. And then under that, we're gonna have a couple different options here. Ah! Did you know there are 3 different types of sound effects in Japanese? Oh! I hope I spelled those correctly. I'm about to like rock all y'all's worlds. You're gonna be like, I've never thought about these things before. I kind of spelled grammar wrong. Thank you, Autospell. Yep. Giseigo, Gyongo, Gitaigo. And then there's all kinds of different things as well. So there's repeating stuff. So for example, like Zaza or Zaza. And then there's stuff like Tokidoki would be a good example, where like there's repeating, and then there's like repeating alternates, and then there's a whole bunch of like different ways that you could, and then there's like sound effects that like aren't technically sound effects, they're like feelings or emotions. And then there's sounds that animals make, there's sounds that humans make, there's sounds that objects make, there are sounds that are technically feelings or emotions or like concepts. Like a really good example is in Fullmetal Alchemist, when Riza like reminds Roy that he's useless in rain, the kanji for useless like appears on top of him like it's crushing him. Like that's a special type of, technically it's a sound effect, but it's not a sound, you know what I mean? And then there are also certain sound effects that you should never use for certain things. like I hate to use this as an example, but it's the very first thing that came to mind. There was one time I was reading a manga and someone used a sound effect for explosion, but they used the sound effect that is specifically for a nuclear bomb. And that specific sound should only be used for that specific thing. And I was like, bro, I know you don't know Japanese, but you should never use that sound for a normal explosion. So like, there's stuff like that also. I'm laughing because it's really awkward and I don't know how to cope with it. But like, yeah, that was really awkward to see. I was like, bro, do you know what that sound means? Oh my god, I know! Like, oh my god, bro, secondhand cringe. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but it's awkward. So. Alright, so I have all of the sound effect, I have all of the lettering stuff in here. I mean, I kind of want to include a section on visual grammar. But I mean, Mampu isn't the only type of visual grammar. You know what, let me include where would I put that though? Like in paneling or art technique? You know, we'll put it in other guides. Like, because I feel like the concept of visual grammar is something a lot of people don't think about. And then Manpu is kind of like a sound effect, kind of. For people who know what Manpu is, would you categorize it as lettering? I mean, it's technically iconography. I mean, no, I'm not gonna list it as lettering. I'll list it as a other guide. I'll put it under the visual grammar section. Yeah, there's like certain like cultural things that like you just don't do, right? Like You're like, that would never happen. And like, what made it worse is their manga was based in Japan. So like, not only were they making a manga and they were using Japanese sound effects in an English language manga, it was based in Japan. And I was like, bruh, bruh, I'm gonna die from secondhand embarrassment. So... Alright, so I've added Mompu. And then how to clean scans. That probably would be in other guides. But I guess that could technically be an art technique. Technically. Yeah, let's put it in art technique because, you know, you gotta clean up your artwork and stuff, so I guess we'll put it here. Snanning. Yes, guys, snanning. Famously important. I'm sorry, this is not relevant to manga, but is this relevant to visual grammar? But have you seen the film Don't Look Now? No, Liam, I haven't. Unfortunately, I'm uncultured. By the way, Liam, I'm gonna out you here really quick. For anyone who doesn't know, Liam is another Viz one-shot mangaka. So give Liam some love, check out his channel, like check out his shorts. Like, Liam, you've had 2 Viz one-shots, right? Yeah, because you had The Stranger and Cage Tiger. You didn't have another one, did you? I don't think so. Just the 2, right? Not that 2 is bad. Or not something to be proud of. I can't believe I just said just the 2. What the fuck? So yeah, go check out Liam's channel, please. Yeah. Actually, let me just add a link. Let me add a link. Why is it? Let me just grab your Twitter while I'm here. There you go. And then let me find your YouTube channel because apparently it's not in my bookmarks like it should be. Where's your freaking YouTube channel? Where's your YouTube channel? What the fuck? Why is it not showing up? YouTube, you are such a butt. It's not giving me your YouTube channel. Thank you, YouTube, you loser. It's gonna make me copy paste it exactly. Apparently there's too many of y'all on YouTube. There you are. Jeez. It made me work for that. There you go. Have fun, guys. I know, right? I was like, I know it when I see it. Oh, hush, Liam. Hush. I love watching your shorts. You also made that comic you're selling. Give me the let me promo that too. Make sure y'all watch this one. If you watch any single one, make sure you watch this one. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. And And then I'll pin this. There we go. I spelled support wrong, but the heart is there. I spelled support wrong. The heart's in the right place. Okay, so now we also have things like, I am uneducated, Liam. You should know this. I am not culturally educated when it comes to movies. You're asking the wrong person. That's why I want to put you on blast, but also yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, I added this one. What was the other one I just added? I forgot. Oh yeah, manga schools. I'm gonna need another category because this is just kind of chaos. I feel like this should actually go somewhere else. Self-publishing and marketing your work. I feel like this could also... Alrighty, so now we have to add, I named it something else in my guide here. Where is it? Ah. Making your own manga paper, that was one. I'm gonna move this over here so I can keep it up. Oh, custom brushes. That was another one. Let's see. Hey, bruh. Oh, making your own manga paper. Who here knows what non-photo blue is? If you know what non-photo blue is, you get a cookie. Alright, I've added all of those. Alright, next is one-shots or series, and I called that something else in my original document. I can't sing very well, sorry. Oh, the one-shot to series pipeline is what I called it. All right, one shot the series pipeline. Pitching to editors. All right, and we also have to add copyrights. I do. Let's see. Oh, there's a question. Do you have a section on sizes and papers to use for certain print sizes and safety margins? So the point of a safety margin is used to go between formats. So for example, like with Shonen Jump, you have a safety margin which is used, like the safety margin is trying to think of like best way to put this. A safety margin is used as sort of like a second margin, because when you're making manga, for example, like let's say you're making One Piece or Inuyasha, right? Like it's going to be printed in a magazine first, right? You know, like Shonen Sunday or Shonen Jump, whichever one. And then it's also going to be printed in the tankobon, which is a completely different aspect ratio than a magazine, if I remember correctly. And so the reason the safety margin exists is to give you that second margin on the paper. Like that way you know, hey, like this is technically the second margin that I have to keep in mind. That way no matter what format or what sizing I print this on, it's going to look okay, no matter what. So that's part of that's what the safety margin is for. And so if you're not going between a magazine or like and a tankobon, you don't really need the safety margin. I mean, it's a good idea to know what it is and like how to use it, but if you're not being published in a magazine, you don't really need it. Or if you aren't being printed in a magazine and doing a tankobon or like regular book format, then you don't really need a safety margin. But I do have a whole section on margins already, as well as a section about making your own manga paper. I guess that's close enough. But I could not math to save my life. Oh, so you actually like want the math on, so you want like the math on how to make your margins? Are they like traditional sizes? Because I see I should have something in here about that. Let's see here. That's a good question though. Let me make sure I do, because that's a really good suggestion. I do have a section in here about margins. I thought I did. Yeah, let me actually let me use this section to make a subcategory. I think this is a good opportunity to make a subcategory. It's a good suggestion. Technically, this should be a subcategory of this. No, you're fine. I know someone who uses like the IC paper, and they needed help putting their margins into Clip Studio, and I helped them do that because I love math. If you guys don't know, I'm a math fiend. I love math. I find math fun. Math is enjoyable for me. It's like a game, so I like math. So. Let's see. Is there a good place to find these margins or for CSP? When you say find these margins, what do you mean? So... So when you're in Clip Studio, here, let me just file new. So when you're in Clip Studio, and you go to make a comic, you can actually, there's a whole bunch of presets that you can choose from. And a lot of them are like professional as well. I have a custom one that I made for Viz because I don't want to have to keep doing the math myself, and so like I have my own one that I have. But there's like so many different options. Like there's like a Shogakukan one, A4, A5. Like all of these are in here for you to be able to use. So like for example, let's say I want to go with Kodansha's like morning magazine format. Like all of these numbers right here. Is this information what you guys need help understanding how and why this works? Is like that what you guys are asking? Yeah, the math can be super confusing, and I'll be honest, like Clip Studio doesn't make it easy either. Like the way they name stuff, like their naming conventions are like bull crap. Like it's definitely not helping. So that's part. I'm not gonna like name who it was, but like that's part of what was confusing the person that I helped. Is because Clip Studio does not make this stuff very clear. So yeah, if you guys want me to cover this, I can cover that. So yeah, let me make that a specific section where I can cover like Clip Studio specifically. That's a good idea, honestly. Ah! Or adding. Yeah, CSP translation. Yeah, it's not very, like, it even took me like a minute too, so. I was wanting an A5 and tankobon print sizes using the tankobon for the safety margin, but man, that was just hard for me to understand. So I think the other problem is the tankobon is usually smaller than your working size. Depending on if you're going with like a Viz size print or like a Japanese print, right? And that's the thing I think a lot of people miss is the Japanese books are printed smaller than like the English books or even other countries. Like some of the European books are massive, honestly. And so I think that adds to the confusion is there's no like universal print size for any series really. Like I have like Yu Yu Hakusho book in Japanese and in English, and they're completely different sizes. And I'm like, that is so confusing. And that's the point of the safety margin is no matter how it's going to get printed, it'll be like not messed up. So now I can't say I necessarily know how to go between them, but I can look it up. I don't know how to do that now, but I'll look it up. I know who I can ask. I can ask Hisashi-san, like, what's the logic for this? Okay, let me update this. I added this one. Added on for the blue. Oh yeah, here's some more stuff I gotta add. Okay, so the next thing I gotta add is different income streams as a mangaka, which will be under probably continued education. Multiple. And then I'll add 2 subcategories for published and self-published. Because I feel like published mangaka and self-published mangaka might have slightly different options. Hey Janesh, I'm doing pretty good. Just having a chill stream this morning. I was like, wow, a lot of my folks keep saying they keep missing my streams because I stream so late. And I'm like, what if I did a morning stream? And here we are. Here we are. Hope you guys don't mind my Weather Channel music. I mean, it's not actually the Weather Channel, but it sounds very Weather Channel. I don't know about y'all, but I love the Weather Channel. Let's see. Correct. And it's infuriating when you have oh yeah, ISO, US papers. Yeah. Yep. US paper madness. Yep. Every day of my life. America. Let's see. I'm glad you have a space for where to post online. I feel like nowhere is safe anymore, and nowhere else has. Okay, so like the post online thing is, don't get me wrong, the post online thing is going to like cover places where you could possibly get picked up, but also the majority of places, like, so here's the thing, and this is normal in publishing in general. If you want to get paid to post online, you will have to give up some form of your rights. Now, it could be exclusivity. It could be like you have to, because there's different types of rights, right? Like exclusivity doesn't mean you lose your rights. It just means you're temporarily sharing them for a period of time, right? Like for example, like when trying to think of like a good example here. So like, let's pretend that Global Comics had like a program to sponsor creators. It doesn't at the moment. It's something we possibly could look into, but we don't have anything like that at the moment. So like, you know, theoretically, Webtoons has something like this already, where if you want us to pay you and support you and pay your bills, you need to give us, the platform, something in return, like to mitigate our risk. And so it's like, hey, we're gonna pay you. So think about the logic of this. We're gonna pay you to make this comic, and then you go and post it somewhere else. That's not fair, because we're paying you to make it for us. You know what I mean? It'd be like someone getting published by Viz Media, like serialized by Viz Media, but going to Dark Horse or going to Kodansha and saying, hey, I wanna like print it with you instead. Like, of course Viz is gonna ask for some form of exclusivity with that. And so like, you know, but then there's also places where you can post it for free, like Pixiv, or Global Comics, or Tapas, or Webtoons, or Namikomi, or Drunk Duck if it's still around, Comic Fury, Smack Jeeves, whatever. Then there was Ink Blazers back in the day. You know, so there's all kinds of options to be able to post comics. And then there's Days Neo, which is a fantastic option. No. Yeah. Well, you just gotta read the terms of service. Just read the terms of service. They'll tell you, like Global Comics is a very explicit thing saying you keep the rights. You keep the rights. Like, to post with us, you keep the rights. And so I feel like, yeah, but I mean, yeah, legal speak is confusing. I don't know a single place that if you post there, you have to, like, if you post there just as a general user, you automatically lose your rights. I know 0 places like that. Now, Twitter is different because, you know, like Twitter is a social media platform that's made for sharing. Now, most companies will say, hey, if you post with us and we want to, like, we need some form of rights to be able to use your work in the form of promoting you. Like, Global Comics does that. It's like, hey, if you post a comic or manga on our platform, we reserve the right to use your images to help promote you. Like, we have to ask for those rights. Like, it has to be in our terms of service for us to be able to do that, to promote someone's work with their own artwork. So that might be what you're seeing that's confusing. I don't know, just a possible option. Yeah. But the problem is also it's different everywhere in every country, right? Like, it's going to be a little different everywhere. And it also depends on where that publisher / platform is from. But also, like, vary up on the law. A lot of people get grumpy with Webtoons deleting this and deleting that. I'm like, yeah, but Webtoons is a South Korean company. They legally have to operate with South Korean law. And South Korean law has a lot of weird specific things in it. weird from a United States perspective. That's why I don't get surprised that they delete stuff with nudity, or webtoons used to be really bad with deleting LGBTQ content. Used to be really bad. That's why Tapas seemed to have such, like, I don't know if it still does, but when I was on Tapas, it seemed like it had a huge boys love community. And it's because and this was 2016, at that time, Webtoons was like deleting LGBTQ content, specifically boys love. And so people would go to Tapas where it was allowed. And so there was a huge boys love, like, rush on Tapas as soon as Tapas was launched with the downfall of Ink Blazers, because Tapas allowed it. So, like, you know, I think a lot of people also just weren't around during that time and just don't know those things. You know what I mean? So, all right, next is, I'm sorry, I got distracted. What was I gonna add? I forget. Oh yeah. I am so excited for this section because I'm gonna destroy so many dreams with it. That sounds really bad. I sounds really bad, but I think people really need the reality check of, like, I'm gonna go to Japan and I'm gonna go to Shonen Jump and I'm gonna show them my manga and they're gonna want to publish me right away. You know? Like, oh, I'm also gonna go and not have a translator with me because obviously they speak English. Oh boy! I'm gonna make some manga! I believe pre-Cacao, I joined Tapas way back in like 2015, 2016. So I joined Tapas when it was brand new. Like old school. Old school. Dude, I was on Ink Blazers. Like, I'm gonna make manga, and it's like, I'm gonna walk into Shonen Jump, and I'm gonna tell them it's this combination of Naruto and One Piece with a little bit of Bleach, and they're gonna slobber all over it because it's amazing. Like, every person who wants to go to Japan ever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I also would love to go to Japan to get published, so I am also one of these people. But you gotta be realistic with your options. When they had a full name, yeah. Absolutely. Alright, now we got some more writing. This section might be a little controversial, not gonna lie. Where is it? Let's see. Hi, Miso. Miso's in my lap. She's Hi, Miso. Good morning. Morning, Miso. My cat is like, what do you want? Leave me alone. Have you guys seen my cat, Miso? Let me find a picture. Would you guys like to see my cat? I don't know if I have, actually, I don't know if it's in here. Let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, I only have Sissy. I don't have a picture of Miso on here. I can go to Patreon. My Patreon, I have a picture of her. Here. Just go to Patreon. Look at this loser. Look at her. This was me working yesterday. She likes to like sit here and nap while I'm working. She's such a goober. Let's see. See if I can search for Miso. I should be able to search for Miso. If you guys didn't know I have a Patreon, I have a Patreon. By the way. It's not gonna, let me see the video. There it is. I wanted to show you guys this one. This one's really funny. Cat break. Wow, you're being really lame. I don't like this. Why is it not... There it goes. Look at this. Oh, They're silly. I think it's more people want the prestige of being with a certain publisher, I think, maybe. Yeah, Webtoons is not very consistent with like not safe for work stuff. So yeah, these two love to play. And then this is Miso with my beautiful cup of coffee there. How pretty she is. Zoom in! It's not letting me zoom in. Thanks, Patreon. Oh, here's another... Ignore my laundry, sorry. Sissy's a little thin here. I had just gotten her, and when I got her from the vet, she was only... I adopted her. When I adopted Sissy, she was only 6 pounds. Super small. So she's doing better now, but she's a little thin here. So shortly after I got her. This is a really pretty picture of Miso. This is when I lived in South Dakota. These goobers. For all these goobers, this is Sissy. She looks mad all the time. She's a Torby. Tabby slash tortoiseshell. This is also when I just got her. Look how thin she is. Poor baby. She's way better now. And then this is like they'll like stalk each other. They're so funny. And then this was like they were finally, this was within 2 or 3 days. They were eating this close to each other within just a few days. So they're both seniors. So yes, I have to Tommy Mats. I'm a loser, sorry. I have to Tommy Mats in my bedroom. I'm such a loser. Like I was amazed they were sitting this close together so quickly. So, but yeah, they're good girls. Miso, when I go to the vet, she likes to hide in my backpack, and so whenever I go to the vet, like even if I take like her travel case, she prefers my backpack. Probably because it smells like me. So, she loves to sit with me when I'm working. I'm literally trying to work, and she's just right there. This was the day after I got back from a business trip. She's very clingy. So, her face is all red. She has allergies. She's allergic to grass. My cat is allergic to grass. So, even when I'm drawing, she likes to curl up with me. She's leash trained as well, so... Yeah, that's my cats. Look at this! Look at this! She's very clingy. She's so clingy. So, she's so funny. Called Liam a nerd. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do have to Tommy Mats in my room. I have 4 of them. Look, it's Hawk. I'm such a loser. Okay, so the story behind this Tommy Mats. I have a story. I have a reason for this. The reason... She's a very lovable baby. The reason behind the Tommy Mats is actually my chiropractor, which is where all weird stories start, is with a chiropractor, right? Or a bar. For some reason, I'm a chiropractor or a bar. And so, many years ago, I was seeing a chiropractor pretty regularly because I had, my neck had a weird angle in it, due to some like trauma that I had experienced. And so, like physical trauma that I experienced. And so I went to a chiropractor to get the angle in my neck fixed. And my chiropractor had asked me, like, I was always complaining about my bed. And I'm like, I can never get a bed, like, hard enough or firm enough for me. Like, I hate super squishy beds. I feel like my body's not supported very well. And he asked me, he's like, just one day out of the blue, he's like, do you know how the Japanese sleep? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, do you know, like, about, like, the futons and the tatami mats? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. I make manga. I'm a otaku. Of course I know. And he's like, when I went to Japan, I slept on tatami mats and it was like the best sleep of my life. Have you considered trying it? And I'm like, bro, do you know how expensive tatami mats are? And for your reference, they are $250 each. Each! They're expensive. And I was like, bro, I have carpets. I can't put tatami mats down. And so that thought kind of like stayed in my mind for a long time. And when I had my apartment before this, I had hardwood floors. And I was like, wait a minute, I have hardwood floors. Let me see if anyone, I was like searching Facebook Marketplace for furniture. And my intrusive thoughts came into my brain and was like, I should look for tatami mats. And I found someone selling 4 tatami mats for $50 each. Well, tatami mats aren't just for sleeping on the floor. Tatami mats are a flooring option. Like, they're meant to be put throughout an entire room. And so if you think about it as flooring, the pricing is a lot more reasonable. And so for me, I have 4 of them. And it's large enough to basically fit two, like the space between the 4 tatami mats is large enough for 2 queen beds. And so I use it not just where I put my bed, but what's really cool is after you sleep, you fold up the futon and you put it away. You fold up the futon and you put it away, and now that space serves as a sitting space, a relaxing space. I have just like a regular little like coffee table, and I can have like some sitting cushions, and I can use it for drawing or playing with the cats or doing yoga. Like, I can reclaim that space during the day and use it for other things, and then I can just pull my bed out at night, unfold it, and lay it back down. And so for me, I really like it because, one, I can sleep so much better now because now I have a nice, really firm bed, and then I can use it as a chill space for like sitting and reading or doing yoga or whatever other things. So, and it's really, really nice. And it also smells fucking awesome. Like the smell of like rush grass when I lay down is they're thick. They're thick. I'd easily say like 3 inches, easy. 3 inches, I think 3 or 4 inches thick. They're really thick. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, they're super thick. And then your futon, your shigibuton is also like 3 to 4 inches thick. Yeah, I do worry about that too. Thankfully, my cats are really good about not doing that. Yeah, that is a very genuine concern. Like, it's a good concern. Go do parental things, but I will leave. It's cool not to leave with it's cool to not know 70s movies, but don't look now is very cool. All right, I'll look it up, Liam. I'll look it up. I'll add it to my weekend movie list. I've already got 2 horror movies I'm gonna watch, and so I'll add a third. That'll be my 3rd movie for the weekend. So thanks, Liam. I appreciate it. I do love horror movies. So say no more. Say no more. I love horror movies. So now I have 3 horror movies to watch. Yay! Thanks, Liam. I appreciate the suggestion. Take it easy. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out, Liam, and see if there's anything you want to contribute. So, if you want to share some stuff, I'm happy to be the platform for it. Have a good night. Good day? Evening? I forget what time it is over there. I think it's like midday over in Europe now. Let's see. Oh, by the way, the reason I was asking about Discord is because I want to find a way I could share my art sometimes. So I said this before. I said this in the Learn to Draw Manga stream, and I'm going to say it again. I don't typically give feedback necessarily anymore. I mean, if you want to send something, you could probably send it over Instagram. Would probably be the easiest way for me to give feedback, but like, I don't do mentoring or like one-on-one mentoring. I don't do one-on-one mentoring anymore. I just don't have the time for it, because if I like answer, like, I'm just really careful how often I do it, because if I do it for one person, I have to do it for everybody, you know what I mean? So like, if you want to send me something over Instagram, you can do that. But like, just be mindful that like, I do not do like one-on-one mentoring anymore. Let's see. No problem. It's a masterclass in writing bespoke visual metaphor. Good luck. For nothing. I love the emotive rants. Are you kidding? The problem with the Discord is you have to have time to run it. That's the problem with the Discord server. I used to have a Discord server, and it was a lot of energy. But also like, keeping in mind like problematic people, like there were a couple problematic people that joined, and there was one specific person who joined, and then all they ever did was like post about like promote their stuff, which I mean, I didn't mind people promoting their stuff, but like the only thing this person did was promote their stuff. They didn't really ever engage at all, like ever, other than like very occasionally talking to like their other partners, like the people who also worked on their manga. Those were really the only people they ever talked to. And like outside of that, it was very rare that they engaged. And so I kicked them. And they got so mad about it. And I'm like, yo, if I have to deal with this drama, just F Discord servers, man. Like, I ain't gonna do this. I ain't got the brain cells for this. I got 2 brain cells left. One keeps me alive and one helps me draw manga. I need to protect them at all costs. Right, but also Zapstream, think about it. You are not the only person asking me. I have a lot of people asking me. I'm not saying that as like a flex. I'm just saying that like I get a lot of requests for help, and I can't help everybody. And so then when I am put in a position where I have to choose who gets my feedback and who doesn't, it's awkward. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mind an occasional Instagram message. Like an occasional Instagram message is fine. Like I definitely answer those as best I can. I don't want it turning into a situation where people are constantly asking me for help. So yeah, if it's an occasional, like, hey, Arcrums, do you have any advice on this? Then yeah, that's fine. If it's occasional, no biggie. I just like don't want it to be a habit, because then I'm not being compensated for the time that I lose helping other people when I could be working on my stuff. You know what I mean? There's that too. Because my free time is very precious. I've also thought about like doing feedback streams too, because that's what I did for Learn to Draw Manga, is I would have a feedback stream. And so, because I want an alternative, like I want a way to help still give back to people. And so I've thought about like doing feedback streams where it's like, hey, like make a submission and then I'll just do a large feedback stream where like everyone can give them feedback. We're basically like, hey, like I'll review your work and I'll redline it for you, but it has to be able to go on my YouTube channel. That way I get something out of it, I get content out of it, and I can teach everyone and I can help everyone because maybe they're making the same mistakes you're making. I've thought about that as well, like doing like public redlining, like live streams or something. So that's another option. Would you guys, how would you guys feel about that? Because I think that could be really fun too. Yeah, I think that could be like a really, because I've been thinking of like what could like a good middle ground be. Because I don't want to like not do those things. I'm sorry, like I'm not typing as much as I am talking. Let's see. But I'm actually almost done, so let's see here. And then I can show you guys some stuff I'm working on. I added this one, I added that one. Oh, there was, oh, was there not another thing to add? Oh, it's not. Oh, keyboard ASMR. Yeah, clicky clicky. It's very clicky. Let's see here. Wouldn't be too bad as long as the submitter was aware. Oh, for sure, yeah, of course, yeah. It would be absolutely disclaimed. I would probably make an announcement video about it. That way, you know, that way it's out there like, hey, like it's gonna be this and it's gonna do this, it's gonna take this long, and like here's an example of what I would do. So stuff like that, like I would provide a whole example. Would you be willing to do that with just manga specifically? I mean, manga, I feel like it's my specialty. I could do a Western comic. I could do a Western comic, but I feel like manga would be what I would prefer to do. I don't see why I couldn't do both and just with the caveat of, hey, like Western comics is not my specialty. I specialize in manga, so take all of my advice with a grain of salt. So maybe something like that. You should do it when you feel like you want to do it. Keyboard, oh yeah. Keyboard ASMR, yeah. It's a very clicky keyboard. It's a Chroma, let's see, what type is it? It's a Chroma Razor Ornata V2. If you want to know what type of keyboard it is. Here, I'll type it out for you. So yeah, I think as long as people are willing to go, oh, okay, hey, like maybe, let's see, where should character design go? So I have to do character design and creature design as well. Would that be an art technique? I feel like that would be in planning, probably. Because I have world building here, so I guess it would also be in here. I guess technically this would all go under world building. Color theory, that's a great one. That's a great one. It's a great idea. I mean, I hate coloring, but that's a great idea. Should definitely include that. Man, I hate coloring so much. It's a great suggestion, thank you. Let's see, I need to know that because as much as I draw in black and white with screen tones, I've never learned how to paint or use color theory. Color theory is tricky because with color, like, you have, like, really straightforward color theory, right? So, like analogous color schemes or triadic color schemes or split complementary themes. Like, you have, like, super basic concepts like that. And then it gets really, where it gets really complicated and where it messes people up is when you get into things like atmospheric color or relative color, you know, things like that is, or, yeah, like, those types of things is where things get really messy. So... I think that's worth some splits. Oh, there was a fourth one and I forgot what it was. I do have some screen tones. Let's see here. I think I'll add two subcategories of, like, digital and traditional tones. Yeah, with digital's, like, using digital screen tones is a lot easier than traditional ones. I'll probably have to order some traditional screen tones just so that I have, like, some stuff to show as, like, examples. Because I used to use traditional screen tones. I used to do everything traditionally, and I switched over to digital just because it's cheaper. Like, traditional screen tones are so expensive. I think the problem is a lot of people, they don't realize that you shouldn't be using screen tone at all when you're doing digital. So... Oh, I was gonna put that under inking, as far as, like, line weight and stuff. But I guess it could be its own thing, like, just line art tips in general, so. I think, like, I feel like I could just do, like, one, because technically the stuff like that could fit under both of these. So... You know, I'll have, like, maybe another one that's, like, just general line art advice. And then, like tips specifically dedicated to, depending on which one you're using. And then the things that it'll include, we'll add things that it'll include, just so that I make sure I don't forget those things. Line weight, texture, etc. Yeah, no worries. I'm about ready to head off as well, just because I got to get ready for work in about 20 minutes. So no, if you're okay, so here's the thing: if you're working digital, if your work is going to be published online, like you should not be doing screen tones. When I did my work for Viz, they wanted me to deliver it with grays, not screen tone, not actual screen tones, and like that's why like stuff for like online, like with like publishers publishing digital versions of their work looks pretty decent. It's usually gray. It's not like regular screen tone. The problem is that like people want the aesthetic. They want the aesthetic of screen tones, and so they add actual screen tones. But it can get so weird because you have the I'm gonna butcher this word. I don't speak French. Moire pattern, mare, more. I can't English. I can't French, I mean. And so like you don't know what resolution the screen that the manga is going to be read on looks like. Like screen tone, like despite its name, was not meant for screens. It was meant for screens, but it wasn't meant for computer screens. It was meant for screens as in like screen printing is like what that was meant for. Like printing. It's a misnomer. It's really confusing for people, you know, and screen tones kind of indirectly came from zipitones or Ben-Day dots. So, the aesthetic, guys, aesthetic. Yeah, I actually wrote a whole article about this. Let me show you. Okay. Do it this way. I wrote a whole ass article about this. Like, I wrote a whole ass article about this. Like, here's the history of screen tones. Here. Yeah, so, you know, screen tones are usually on these papers, right? And so, you know, in Clip Studio, you can simulate these. Like, you can, yes, you are. Like, you know, this is where screen tones came from. This like when things are being printed as a way of saving money, using less ink, right? And so when you see dots and like prints and stuff, like this is what you're actually seeing, you know. And so like Ben-Day, these dots, they're called Ben-Day dots. And when you mix tones, you can get this. These are the same gray. They're the exact same gray. It doesn't look like it at first when I'm zoomed in, but when you zoom out, it's the exact same gray. One is dots, one is solid gray. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. And so when you do when you're working digitally, this is what can happen. And so you just use gray, and then you don't have to worry about this ugly stuff happening. So yeah, like here, let me just link y'all to all of the tutorials I've already made. Here you go. I've made a good chunk of these. Almost all of these are mine that I've already made. Like, this is where I'm going to be referencing a lot of my information from. Oh, but like, I have a little bit of a color theory one as well. Like, yeah, some of these are Global Comics specific, like, tutorials, but some of these are about line art. Like, I have Komawati already in here, and some paneling, how to set up page turns, hatching and cross-hatching. Like, I've already done a lot of these things. Like, I've already made a lot of these tutorials. And so basically what I'm doing is the book that I'm making now, like this book, is just stuff I've already done. Like, I've already talked about these things. I'm just compiling everything in one place. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Anyway, I think we got everything. Oh, I missed one thing. Missed one thing. This one's gonna be a hot take. I think there's gonna be a couple people that don't like this one. Apparently this is a hot topic for some people. Oh honey, this is probably gonna be a couple-year project. Take my monies. Eventually I will print this book, yeah, absolutely. Eventually I'm gonna print this book. So I want this to be something that I offer people, and I want to also give it away to schools and like art clubs and stuff. So, all right, we've added everything to the list. It only took me an hour and a half to add everything to the list because I kept letting myself get distracted. So, that's part of inking and line weight and stuff. So. That's already there. I've technically already made that tutorial. So I've already got that part included. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you. Also, bro, if you need to talk, just send me a DM. I'll listen. I'll be there for you. If you just need to vent some stuff, I'm there for you, bro. Never hesitate to send me a DM. Oh, do you guys want to see the artwork? I'm basically done with it, by the way. Do you want to see it? The one that I was doing traditionally before? Let me show you. I posted it on Patreon yesterday, so. Check this out. Woo! It's basically done. The only thing I have left to do is fix this part here. I gotta fix that. And then there was one other thing. What was it? I forget. Oh, the flowers. The inside of the flowers here, which I kind of already started. It's just hard to see because it's in pencil. And then this part. And then it's done. Woo! So we're almost there, guys. I'll probably take some of this texture over in here and I'll put it here because I realized that it looks really weird that there's 4 here and then there's like an empty space here. So what I'll probably do is I'll take some of this and I'll throw it in here, but I'll do it digitally. So I don't know if I have the stamina to do that traditionally. I mean, I probably could do it, but I don't want to fight it. So I gotta clean up some of that because it looks like so weird. Like it feels like there's an empty space here and I don't like it. So I'm gonna fix that digitally. How did I learn to draw flowers so well? By drawing a lot of flowers. By drawing a lot of flowers. That, and I also took, when I was in college, I took a class called Designing Nature. And it was basically a class about it was basically biology for artists. And so we learned how to design animals and design plants and how to design environments and stuff. But we learned it from like a scientific angle. Like, here's why moose biology, here's why like mammal biology is this way. And then, okay, go create a mammal. And here's bird biology. And here's why birds work and how birds work. And you know, so like how birds evolved, and so go create a bird, like a bird creature. It was a really, really fun class. I really, really loved it. So, well, because you can't approach drawing a flower like you do a person. They're completely different structures. And I think and flowers are very mathematical too, which is why they frustrate a lot of people, is they're very mathematic. But remember, I love math. Actually, I have a whole set of sketchbook. Like, I have a whole chunk of my sketchbook that is dedicated just to learning plant and flower and tree anatomy. Like, understanding how and why they work. And so if you're struggling with drawing a subject, like, I would highly recommend to go study its biology. Like, dead ass. Like, go study the biology of the thing that you're struggling drawing if it's a living thing. And then just, like draw, like, skeletal structures or draw muscle structures or like redraw anatomical drawings of that thing. Like go find it. You know, there's usually textbooks you can rent from the library of stuff like that. I do that all the time. Like I'll go to the library and I'm like, okay, I want to learn how to draw lions, or I want to learn how to draw or like palm trees. What's coconut trees? A palm tree. And so I'll go rent books that have lots of palm trees in them, or books that have lots of lions in them, and I'll go draw those pictures. So, like, it's a really great way. It's called the visual library. That's something I need to add in here for artists, is the visual library. So, but yeah, like like your visual library, think of it this way. Your visual library, think of it as like an actual library. And anytime you learn how to draw something, you make a new book on that topic. So like, for example, lions. I was just talking about lions. So like, I have a book in my brain, in my visual library about lions. And every time I draw lions, I add an extra page to that book, right? Like I'm adding knowledge of that topic in terms of like being able to draw it and understand it and know how it functions. So basically the more, like the greater the diversity of things that you draw and the more times you practice drawing those unique things, the more you'll have in your like internal visual library. And that's how people like Kim Jong-gi, who, if you don't know who that is, please look him up. I'll type out his name for you. Kim Jong-gi. Like, look up his visual library, or look him up, like watch his videos. He's unfortunately not with us anymore, but he could draw so much stuff from memory because he drew such a stupid amount of things. Like, he could do crazy, like, fisheye perspective without even needing to draw in his, like, reference lines because he did it so much that his internal reference system was so strong that he could just do it on the fly, right? Yeah, I learned about the concept from Kim Jong-gi in one of his lectures. He also mentioned the visual library. And so that's where I learned it from. So yeah. So yeah, anyway, I've got 10 minutes before I gotta clock in for work. I'm gonna go heat up some breakfast, go make some eggs or something. And so I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I think it's going to be like a super fun project. I really appreciate, I super duper appreciate like everyone giving me like your thoughts and your ideas. If anyone's watching this after the fact and you want to leave a comment, just say, hey, Arkrums, can you make sure you include this topic? Like, I definitely will do my best to include everything. And this is, again, like, I'm going to say this one more time. I've said this like a lot. This is going to be a multi-year project. Like, this is going to take me a really long time to do. You know, so like, I'm going to have to slowly work through these topics. And so I'm not going to work on them in any specific order. I'll probably work on them kind of randomly. But if there's a specific topic you guys want to make sure that's included for anyone watching this video after the fact, because I'm going to leave the VOD up, please let me know. And I'll do my best to include it. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to try to do maybe some more morning streams. It seems to be really successful, and then everyone who wakes up in the US, you know, can enjoy it at a later time. So, all right, bye, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Take it easy. Bye. Love you. Oh, yeah, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff. I forget to do that sometimes.